So this masterclass is called Inner Coherence, how you can align yourself emotionally and mentally. So why I set up these calls. And I'm asking you in the beginning where you're tuning in from and what it is that you're here for. And I wrote down on a paper your answers. I asked it, what is it that you're looking to have answers to? And let me share a bit. It's all, without a name. So finding purpose, fear and anger, grief, hurt and guilt. Some person shared, I don't know what is the right answer. I love that. I love that. Just being able to voice that you don't know what you're looking for, right? Hi, Amina. Some people said, I broke up and I want to get back to my own identity. Another person said, I try not to control everything. Finding myself again, rage, clarity with feelings, engaging in self sabotage, people pleasing, and being scared, emotional freedom, energy, emotional healing, clarity between goals, needs, and expectations. And every single answer I love because this shows you that you are willing to go where you have not found a way to go yet. It's all about the yet and the so far. That's why you're here. So I acknowledge for you that you feel that urge within you to really choose yourself and say, you know what? I want to know what's happening beneath those intense emotions and why my mind keeps looping in the same thing, even though I know it's not to my benefit. And if you can resonate with that, you're so welcome to be here. My name is Sige Nagels. I'm an embodiment architect and transformational mentor. I help women and conscious men who are in life-altering stages in their lives so they can reconnect with their soul purpose and really live from their authentic self. Because that's how you set up sustainable freedom from there. You set up marvelous relationships because you're connected to truth within you, meaning it reflects, it mirrors, it shows everything that is not in resonance with that truth within you. Can you see how you create beautiful relationships that way? Right? Not playing games anymore, not suppressing yourself anymore, allowing and finding the strength within you to speak and to voice what matters to you. That in itself is such an anchor to the quality of your life. And why can I speak about all of this? Because I have been in the total opposite situations for a long time in my life. And at some point, I decided I go to the root of my problems. I was just like, I'm done. This cannot be the case. I know myself. I know I have big dreams and goals. Why am I experiencing all of this? So I decided to go to the root and I committed to that. And that's why I am celebrating every single one of you who is here on the call. And those of you who said, you know what, I cannot be there, I will watch the recording, the replay. Because this is like learning a new language. All of us here are here because we agree that we lack wisdom about why these emotions are gushing through our body, why they come up in moments that we don't expect them at all, why there's triggers, and when we don't listen, it bangs even harder at the door. And when you say, you know what, any way how you deal with it from your logical minds You think, oh, this may help, this may help, this may help. And what actually is happening is you learning another lesson, another part of the lesson, another, just a small equation of the lesson. So there's two moments in my life that I share with you because they're crucial to understand what may be happening in your life, and that you can really feel the similarities and see how you can apply it for yourself. So the first moment is that my body was showing me for a long time that a specific situation wasn't healthy for me anymore. And that was in the job. I was leading construction sites and I love to build with people. I have a degree as an engineer architect, so very logical. I was very good at planning and, you know, contributing, collaborating with people. And it's funny to see that I do the same still, yet in a total different setting. That's why I call myself embodiment architect, because in that moment, I was on the opposite side of listening to my body, of working with my body. My body was telling me, you know what? This job is not healthy for you anymore. Not in this setting, not in this environment, not with this pressure, with these discussions, and how I was showing up to being responsible for that job. I was over responsible and I was putting myself aside in order to achieve on the job. I was copying the behavior of our male colleagues because I thought that's how I was able to set up success for myself, to achieve in this project. And I had to let that go. The point was, with my mind, I was forceful. I knew how to get to the goal, even though it cost me my health, even though it cost me my time, my precious time with my loved ones. I was so focused and I was so tied to that title on my business card. And I have no judgment to me for that stage in my life, because that's what is being told to us, that matters, that what life is about. And I believed that, and I showed up to that, and I had to discover, not for me, not this way. And I keep on referring to my body because my body knew for a long time, and I was forcing it with my mind. So take note on that. Another situation is when my ex-husband and we were moving through difficulties in our marriage, and we decided, we are going to solve this. We have this. There's everything will work out. We will keep on continuing, because that's what my belief was, right? Once married, always married. And I truly made that decision and that choice from my heart and from the intention to fulfill it that way. My body knew from a specific moment this wasn't healthy for me anymore. And I didn't want to listen. So the same happened. My body forced me to listen. My body knew for a long time. My body knew for a long time. So I want you to understand that all the feelings that happen beneath the surface are bringing you a specific message. And to be very fair and honest with you, I didn't know how to deal with my emotions in a very healthy way. Not at all. And to come to the point where I really decide, so with my marriage or going through the divorce, I decided, okay, I am going to invest in myself, as I really wanted to know what happened. What is the root cause of all of this? So I invested in Bob Proctor, and he taught me how to think. Honestly, I thought that I knew how to think, having all this experience what happens in society. You went to school, university, all of that, you do the same thing. So you think, yes, I'm reasoning with my mind. It's all conditioned thinking. It's all because you believe, you operate from specific beliefs, and you have assumptions, and you have expectations, and you're not really listening to your intuition anymore at some point. And then we get into those loops of how we see things to be for us, and we are not really in connection to ourselves anymore to understand, okay, maybe there is misalignment, even though I was very conscious in making my decisions. So what grows within you is this disconnection from who you truly are. And in preparation for this masterclass, Inner Coherence, I sent you messages if you were able to get it on Meetup or my newsletter or my social media. Preparation for the embodiment of this masterclass. And the first thing that I asked you, the first assignment was, what emotions do you not want to feel? What emotions do you not want to feel? What are you avoiding to feel? So I asked you to write that down, not from a place of judgment. You have to know there's no judgment here, no condemnation. There is a level of consciousness that comes, that grows by you willing to become vulnerable, by you willing to stay with an emotion that you normally would run away from, hide from, have specific behaviors about. We are not told to stay with discomfort. There's all coping mechanisms in society. And if you want, you can write it in the chat. What has been your coping mechanism? Okay. I was overspending. I thought, you know what? I'm in the corporate world. I work so hard. My free time is my freedom. So whatever I want, I buy. That was just pure compensation of what was missing. In those moments, I was not seeing and I was not hearing myself. So write that down. Write that down. So what is the compensation of you pushing your emotions down? What I understand right now is that most of us, we lack clarity on how to deal with those emotions. And yes, you can go to therapy and talk about it. Yet talking just only brings temporary relief. Okay, temporary relief. You feel a bit better because you share, right? You let it flow, the resistance gets loose because you talk about it. Situations when you're in specific environments, in the job, in your relationship, and there's not really a change in how you see yourself or a change in the interactions, those feelings build up again, and you have to go to the therapist again and talk about it again. In here, what we do in here is we work together with the body. See, the investment in Bob Proctor in learning how to think connected me with how marvelous our mind is and how we are not told what we can actually do with it. Not reproducing of what has been expected from us. Then I understood, okay, and you may resonate with that. You may be so good in thinking, in reasoning, in being analytical, in keeping things practical, into and when you need to perform and when you need to achieve things, you put yourself aside in order to get to the goal, get to the result. If there's this connection or not, you just don't listen. Do you resonate with that? You can type 1 in the comments. Okay, so this is how we are conditioned, being up in the mind, thinking, solving, fixing, a very masculine energy. And there's a connection within us that is a connection connected to our core, to our essence. And that keeps on whispering what is actually for you. And it asks for more softness. It asks for openness, for not being rigid, for not looping in emotions that are allowing us to repeat patterns connected to our upbringing. They're not beneficial, they're familiar. And because in the beginning, everything happens unconsciously, right? Carl Jung, he says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. F-A-T-E. Fate. As if there's nothing to do about it. This is an effect of the generational and ancestral patterning. There's a lot of pain that is carried through generations. And if your parents and grandparents and the parents of your grandparents didn't know how to deal with it, it's stored in the DNA, and it is mentally and emotionally, physically passed on from generation to generation. When you being here, I acknowledge the courage that you have to say, okay, I don't want to pass this on either to my own children or keep on experiencing this loop over and over again. So those emotions that are connected to the thoughts, they're actually living in the body. So thoughts are the language of the mind, and feelings is the language of the body. And our minds may take us all over the place, and we feel like chaos. And then we have our emotions. Our emotions go up and down, and depending on what we have been emotionally engaging with or having been unconsciously trained by, because of our caregivers being with us, because our people have shown to us with a lot of repetition, a lot of emotion, how they dealt with that we just copied the behavior and still living with the effects of it. That's why you're here. Not anymore. Not any longer. And just be honest with you. It may be a toxic work situation that you long to solve. Toxic, let's use unhealthy, okay? Let's use unsustainable. Let's use non-beneficial. The lesson that is there for you to see will be an answer to the pattern that you have been repeating so far. So far. When you're here, you understand, okay, these feelings, they're giving me some messages. You maybe not be able to understand them now. That will change over time. You maybe not be able to process your feelings so you feel like you're getting somewhere instead of repeating it? So far. Now you will learn. See, I invested in polarity because I felt these emotions when I was in my marriage, and I'm very open about that. I was really unconscious about patterns. I was interested in patterns from the aspect of awareness. Because I could see them, I was not able to give an interpretation. I was not able to work with them in depth, and I was not able to transform them. It didn't give me the clarity that I was looking to find from living the experience, so to speak. I was literally living the experience. Like I was in a reactive state. I was in a victim mindset, and I thought everything is happening to me. And if other people were to behave differently, then my life wouldn't be that difficult. And that's a very unconscious way to exist in life. And that's how I see most people live their lives, going through this process of understanding everything in depth. So when you're in a reactive state, just breathe. You can take a few deep inhales and exhales. And allow yourself to become present. Your breath is a very important part of all of this. Now, we are still talking about emotions and still talking about thoughts. And from the chaos, you can come into alignment. It's you understanding that you are a spiritual being having a physical experience with an intellectual mind. The mind is very good at reasoning, analyzing. That's how we've been trained. Our feelings, they derive from our thinking. Whatever you engage with in your mind sets up a feeling in the body. If you don't know how to deal with that, this is energy that the body stores within until you're able to deal with that. So the emotions that you keep on experiencing over and over again is based upon a memory that you have been revisiting over and over again. That memory could have changed over time. I also had to discover that with with our immature minds as children, we draw conclusions and we decide this is how life has to be because I keep on experiencing it in my circumstances. I keep on experiencing it in the behavior of people. Right? So you go there and you say, okay, not anymore. Those emotions, they are connected to something deeper. And now I want you to write that down. We all have needs. And needs are something different than being neediness. First, you have to see yourself. You have to acknowledge that you are a soul, a being, and you have specific needs. And we don't have to put our needs aside in order to be worthy to live happy relationships, to live a good life, to execute a job that fulfills us, to live in purpose, to support your health in a way that you feel you're thriving. and that you are fully alive. What I was taught, what I experienced for myself personally, and perhaps you resonate with that as well, I was putting myself last in my relationships, in the job, and it was affecting my health. And why was that? Because I couldn't see my worth. I want you to write down that you are worthy of everything that you wish, that you long for, that you desire. Because that's a birthright. I know there's many religions who say that you are actually depending on a source outside of yourself. The quality of your life will become secondary to the religion if you put that above you. I'm not going in that direction. I just want to share with you that your needs matter. You matter. You don't have to put yourself down. You don't have to fulfill yourself with shame for being alive or for having specific needs, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, business-wise. Okay? So that's one thing. That's one thing that I want you to take from this. Okay, I don't have to tolerate specific things. I don't have to negotiate my worth. You don't have to negotiate your worth at all. When I started to make a home for my feelings, when I started to process my emotions, I could see, I could feel within my body very clearly when something was misaligned and that I needed to learn and to see, okay, what is my limiting belief to the situation that I'm actually experiencing? Why am I putting myself below a situation and I was tolerating things. I was negotiating my worth. Because I wanted things to be a specific way. And because I thought, you know what, I know myself very well. I have a lot of clarity about where I want to go in life, and it needs to go that way. It needs to be with this person. It needs to be this job. It needs to be whatever, this house, whatever the thing is. And those of you who have children, the children just come to you. You don't choose your child. And it's the biggest gift ever. And that's with life exactly the same thing. It's with your partner, it's with your job, it's with your purpose. And when you choose you, other can do the same. They will do the same because you see your worth. So what do we do then when we have these thoughts that are all over the place and these emotions that pull us into different directions? Okay. A very important thing that is that, okay, I have contrast. Right? A person said here, having a negative thoughts loop was a way I cope with my pain. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. So you go back into the head because you don't know how to be within the body. See, this contrast is an act of self-definition. You have the choice to say, you know what? This is how I see myself. I won't tolerate this any longer. And I'm choosing me. Now, I was not told to behave that way or to speak about myself that way or to word my thoughts based upon my experiences. I was looking for validation. I was looking for approval. I was feeling small. It's all conditioned. And that is not true at all. The truth is, I know my worth. I validate myself. I approve of myself. That's the truth. You just have to be reminded of that aspect because maybe just nobody showed you. And that's okay, you know, no judgment, no condemnation. If you were having the consciousness and the awareness before, you would have behaved differently. And can you see it's exactly the same with your caregivers as well? And with the people in relationship to you, or the boss in the job, or the colleagues, or whatever your experience is. Your consciousness is what you grow in when you start accessing the deeper layers of your feelings. That's the clarity that you're looking for. Because that clarity centers you within yourself. And when you allow yourself to go there, you say, you know what? I can be with myself because this is just energetical residue within my body that is asking to be seen, asking to be heard. And I work a lot with the inner child as well. You know, that inner child of you, if you never heard it before, there is, based upon the conditioning, there is this small boy, small girl within you that has held on to the things that she or he didn't receive or that was too painful, that you were not able to process in that moment because you're a child. Right? And as a child, the responsibility lies more outside of you than within you, even though you still can. At some point from the age of 8, you start to be very conscious and you can reject things. Before, your subconscious mind is like a sponge. And what it does, it soaks everything in. Right? So whatever happens with a lot of repetition and a lot of emotion, for you, that's truth, that's reality. That's your beliefs. That's how you see the world. You assume life to be a specific way, and then you keep on repeating that pattern over and over again because you think, yeah, that's how life works. It can be a money paradigm. It can be a paradigm of overgiving or self-sacrifice or abandonment, rejection. I'd love to talk with you about that. That has been for me a big part of why I end up doing what I do right now. See, after my marriage, at some point, I started dating again, and the first weeks were marvelous, and then things happened, and all of a sudden, the pattern, this immense fear turned up. And honestly, I was baffled. I was like, where does this come from? It was not active in my marriage at all. No. So it was triggered based upon the experiences that we shared, you know, in that during that moment of dating, and it triggered me. It hurt so deeply, and I was not in my 20s anymore, right? Even after marriage, I was like, how is that even possible? So what happens, you know, during my years from 0 to 7, I was experiencing specific situations with a lot of repetition and emotion, and I drew conclusions for myself that were based on abandonment and rejection. So my parents divorced when I was 2.5. And maybe with my mind, because I couldn't understand as a child why my dad wasn't there anymore, or my mom told me that I was very fearful, shy, I was crying a lot. There was a lot of sadness, probably also grief that I was processing. And as a child, you just go through the emotions and it's stored in my body. So doing all these embodiment tools of processing my emotions, allowing myself to go there, learning to trust myself again, learning to give value to the opinion that I have about myself, about situations, that I can trust myself. I don't have to give more value to an opinion outside of me than my own opinion. I can have those emotions and I can move through them, and understanding the contextual field of reality that I was receiving with that emotion. And I could create space within me. I allowed myself, I was willing. This is what this is about. I was willing to go to a place within me that allowed myself to breathe. I allow myself to, that is a specific place in my mind and in myself that I decided I go there. And for my mind, it was a decision. Then I allowed myself to drop in the body and be present with the emotion. And I created a space because I was willing to go there. And in that space, I allowed myself to feel my emotions. And this is what I guide you through, how you do that, knowing that you're safe, knowing that you're guided. You're just reliving it and you're processing the residue within the body, all the insights, all the motions, all the clarity, all the answers that you are looking for are within yourself. You're freeing yourself from all the wet blankets that are hindering you from blooming into the person who you authentically are. Every single one on this planet contributes to this magnificent world. You have something within you that makes you unique. Allowing yourself to process these emotions, that will start to become freed, liberated. You give it space to be. You give yourself moments to rest, to catch breath again, not being suppressed. And from not being suppressed, you allow yourself to connect with your own unique self-expression, your voice, what matters to you, your worth, your feminine self-worth, your masculine self-worth. You are rebuilding that trust within you because you see yourself, you hear yourself, you acknowledge who you are. And by you doing so, creating that openness by being honest to yourself, being honest to yourself. And that asks for courage. And those people who are honest with themselves, they will understand what they were doing before is the coping mechanism is a protection. The avoiding, the running away, the blocking, the not being communicative, that is all protection. And in essence, it is also rejection of self. It is abandonment of self. And can you see that you're actually just repeating the pattern that as a child hurt you so much? Your conditioning taught you to not see your value, so you rejected yourself. And now by you going not to the emotion that gives you the clarity, and by having those coping mechanisms, you are rejecting yourself. You're abandoning yourself because you're keeping yourself unrevealed. You don't allow yourself to go there, to build that trust that you are safe within. You going there, you feel that groundedness within you, that safety. Can you see how empowering that is? Receiving all these insights about you, all the answers that you were looking for, you discover when you sit with your emotions and when you allow yourself to feel them. And all the residue of energy that is stored within the body gets to be freed. Every layer, every making a home for your feelings is a process. It's just like swimming in the water. You don't learn to swim by watching the water or reading in a book about it. You have to do the work of getting wet, getting in the water, and just taking it one thing at a time. Maybe you process fear and you allow yourself to be with that. Maybe for you, your emotion is guilt, anger, rage. You know, rage is an expression of love that has not found a place to be. In essence, every emotion is. You were dismissing yourself. And what we teach here is, or what the breakthrough for you is, allowing yourself to go there and knowing that you can give it to yourself too. Because you not understanding this dynamic that you're looking for safety within others and that you're looking for safety in a job or whatever the pattern is, what you're looking safety to receive in or from, you access that within yourself. Now, does that mean that you don't need others? Of course, you want to share your life with people and you want to do specific things, big things. You want it, but you don't need it. But in your relationships, it's just the same as well. Yes, you can want that person, you can want that man, but you don't need it, baby. And that's where your power comes from. The strength, the groundedness, the anchoring within yourself. And let me tell you, by seeing me and hearing me in depth, I understand the behavior and the level of consciousness of the people interacting with me. So I can only feel love for the stage where people at, because I have been there. In those situations, I have been abandoning myself and rejecting myself as well. So I operate from compassion. There is no judgment. We're all on our own journey, learning our own lessons in our own pace. So feel that rigidness coming down. Feel that you can let your guards down. And by you not being hard on yourself and being rigid, you know, there's more flow, there's more movement of the emotions. There's not this contraction, restriction. There's the suppression is gone when you allow yourself to self-express. And what we do as well, you connect to that potential within yourself. And when you cultivate that potential within yourself, those moments of contrasts, you become comfortable during the contrast because you know it's a self-defining moment. It's giving you insight, it's giving you clarity, it's giving you the answers that you need in order to decide, am I allowing this or not? What are my needs? What is empowering for me? How do I want to be loved? How do I love? What is the type of relationships that I want? Do I need somebody else's permission, or is my own permission for myself enough? Your self-worth comes fully online. And I also really mean fully. Every time you do this work, this growth is elliptical, okay? So you will arrive at stages of awareness, and then you experience something and you say, okay, I've experienced this before. Why is this repeating? Well, there's still a part of it in that consciousness that needs growth in order to fully let go of those old patterns. There's still something in it that triggers you. There's still a level of self-validation, self-acceptance, unconditional self-love. There's still a level of judgment that you hold to others, so you also hold it to yourself. By you not judging others anymore, you won't repeat the pattern by going through that judgment that you casted upon others and actually also indirectly cast upon yourself. This work goes very deep. And the clarity that you gain is giving you insights on what are the limiting beliefs. What are the assumptions that you create life from? And when you decide to incorporate or to have playfulness again, lightheartedness, joy, laughter, fun. Once you understand what this life is about, all the seriousness is just heaviness, unprocessed expectations from others upon to others, the separation that lives in this society, us against them. See, there's this consciousness of oneness. I know you guys because I know me. I know myself, so I can recognize the self of somebody else. And the self is just a fractal of consciousness. That's that energy, that's a spark of you that is your soul. And that soul that comes here with a specific tikkun, like you have a task to fulfill, something you decided you want to learn. And we totally forgot about that. We came here and we start living our lives as these beautiful balls of light and love, unconditional light, unconditional love. Every single baby is just pure bliss. No judgment to self, full self-acceptance, unconditional love and light. And then we just grow into a shadow because we listen to others more than to ourselves. So me being on this journey, I ask myself questions. When I see myself performing instead of being present, I ask myself why. What is this a mechanism for? What am I trying to hide? What am I trying to prove? I prefer to be my authentic energy. Even it can be messy, it can be clumsy, even though perhaps my voice trembles. I know what I stand for, and my preferred language is communication, open and honestly. And you may experience that some people won't allow you. So what do you do then? You go within. In essence, you don't need the other person's approval. In essence, when you do this work, you know how to heal. You know how to forgive them, or just not particularly forgiven because you just understand the level of consciousness. And also, mainly what happens to you, what you experience, is a projection from the other upon to you. It actually does not have to do anything with you. It's their projection. And on the other hand, when you work with me, you will also understand that there's nothing to change but self. There is no other. I don't know if you ever heard about Neville Goddard. Right? He's very clear that you are the only operant power in your life. The self is the only operant power in your life. Meaning the inner work is what allows you to change the outer world. You experience the circumstances in a specific way because you have a level of consciousness that is still in separation of yourself. Meaning you set up dynamics unconsciously in order to learn the lesson where you can go through the self-acceptance again and give it to yourself first. And from there, you build marvelous relationships. As you operate as a whole, you feel yourself, you know you're a whole, and you know you are enough. You're more than enough. You know that. Operating from that energy is just pure bliss and fulfillment. You won't question yourself. You know that you just have to step one foot in front of the other. Why? Because you have been rebuilding that trust and the safety within yourself. And whatever circumstances are there is just a creation of thoughts that you have been thinking before, of limitations that you have been working through, and you just don't resonate with it anymore. You don't identify with it anymore. See, when you start doing this work, this inner work of the coherence between the thoughts and the feelings, your gut and your mind, and the thoughts, they will be streamed when there's order in the mind. When you have clarity on where you want to go, on what matters to you. If anything and everything was possible, what would you want in this life? What do you truly, truly want? And when your level of self-worth is at a specific height, you won't question yourself. Am I worthy? Am I good enough? Because you know you're more than good enough. Any desire that you have is just an energetical given. Now you cultivate, now you take action, inspired action with rest and softness and playfulness and joy, and because you just trust that it is yours. The direction of the mind where you want to go is just a north star of, you feeling in your soul that specific things are for you. That's your soul calling. And that soul calling is in direct reflection of your unique, authentic self expression. So when you allow all these wet blankets to pull away from you, one part at a time, you revisit your raising consciousness. You revisit your raising consciousness. You will outgrow environments. You will outgrow people or not. Also, other people are growing. They can decide to grow just exactly as you do. And when you grow together and you're in a relationship, you will stay together. Most problems happen when you give yourself permission to grow and to become this higher expression of yourself because you know you're worthy, and the other person holds back. The other person doesn't allow themselves to be vulnerable. Not yet. So far. They're walking their own pace. So it's in that vulnerability to self that you connect to strength and to empowerment, to openness, and you open doors and you can walk through them because you feel that trust within yourself that you just, yes, you can walk. You can walk through that door and no, nothing will happen because you have that clarity within. As if you just walk with that confidence of, I know who I am. I know what I'm here for. I know everything is working out for me. I know I don't have to beg. It is a given. Because every single one of the people on the planet is a child of God in the consciousness, not from the man-made projection. No, because this God's essence is within. This divinity is within. That's why you are more than worthy enough. More than good enough. And you allow yourself your full expression, your grandest version. And that's where you can thrive instead of survive. You've become a master at suppressing emotions, and that's why you were surviving. I can resonate with that because that's how I was doing life before. Being fully frustrated, thinking everything happened to me, not understanding that I was the cause of my own problems. I became aware. And then, because of that awareness, I went deeper because the seeing it alone is not enough. There's this energy within the body, so the body is an instrument of the mind. Meaning your body executes what your mind tells you to do. You can easily see with a shy person or a confident person. How they see themselves as confident, the body will behave totally differently than a person who sees himself as shy. An easy example, and it works for every single thought in the mind. Every single behavior can be seen in that way. Every single emotional expression as well. So it's tied to the identity, how you see yourself, the self-concept, And that's what the embodiment is about. It's not about you knowing, it's about you being. Your life, the quality of your life is a reflection of your state of being. Your money mindset, the relationships, the quality of relationships in your life, it's all directly connected to your state of being, the self-concept. So yeah, who do you need to be in order to live that life that you want to live? So these outdated versions of you, you will transmute the emotional states because you know how to create and to access that space within. And it's just like you learn a new language. You learn in a new language. You learn to swim. And at some point, you come to the realization, wow, I can swim. Wow, I can do this. Wow, I can communicate in a way that I'm fully, authentically me without any trigger. And if it happens, you just catch yourself straight away. It's like, uh-oh, that's not me anymore. That's just an old pattern resurfacing. We don't do that anymore. I don't identify like that anymore. It's not active anymore. And there's open and honest conversation. And there's this lightness of living. There's this joy. Everything slows down because you get to be in the present moment. So I really feel like with this work, my life got so much lighter. So much lighter. I really feel like I have the cure for cancer. And if you feel on the thing that I'm doing, and what would you do if you understood that you have the cure to cancer? Are you going to push it down? No, you want to talk about it. You want to share with people. You share, you have to know this. We can set ourselves free emotionally and mentally. And from that coherence, you just live your best life. You can thrive and have a fulfilling life just in full resonance with your authentic self. There's no playing games. There's no suppression. It is fully aligned with your soul's purpose and with you. So this is why I do what I do, because I want for every single one on this planet to experience what is your capacity within yourself. You are marvelous. You are full of divinity. You are so ready to step into that higher expression of self. And if I were to show you how to do that, then come with me on this journey. And let me share with you everything that you are eager to know and to embody that life for you. Yes, you, your preferences, your loved ones, whatever is your vibe, whatever is your tribe, whatever speaks to you, whatever sets you on fire. It can be anything and it will be connected to your heart. And it will be connected to that fulfillment with your thoughts because you allow yourself to receive that flow, to listen to your intuition. You will be able to hold space. Hold space. There's no concurrence. Is it concurrence in English? There's only collaboration. Everybody is on their own pace. So if you feel this speaks to you, let me share with you a document in the chat that you can download. I share with you the ways how you can work with me, because this is how I long for you to live your life. Wait a minute, that's this document here. You can download it and step onto this journey with me. There's a 3-month program that you can dive into. There's a 6-month journey, group programs, because you learn so much from one another. This is all collectively, right? You work through your patterns, and the liberation is on the level of the generational patterning. The buck stops with you. You don't pass it on because you do the inner work. Yes, you will keep on repeating patterns until you do the inner work. So if you're actually experiencing the same situation over and over again with different people, it's because you're still learning your lessons. And that's okay. It's just, what is your willingness to level up your consciousness with your mind? So the focus for me on my 3-month program in the group is the processing of the emotions. And there is, of course, clarity with the mind infused in that. Yet when you really want to have the combination of the mind and the emotions, then I suggest you prefer to join the 6-month program. Because there it's a beautiful, this coherence comes to full expression by you taking the journey a bit longer. And then you will need to have a telescope to watch who you were before you started that. Even though the 3-month period is shorter, the seeds you plant there, it will affect your relationships. Because this, if you're in a relationship, what you are taught in the 3-month program, Truth Core Essence, you can apply in your relationships. You will set up a specific way of communicating vulnerably about your emotions. So you are learning how to hold space for yourself, and in the dynamic of the relationship, you may be the feminine energy and your partner is the masculine energy. You will have the capacity to build a container that creates reassurance, that creates safety within the relationship. Oh boy, that is just the quality of that relationship that you experience in that way is just like your relationship of your dreams. You grow into the capacity, your utmost capacity. And when you do that together with the person that you love, your favorite person in this world, come on, what a life you create. Imagine that you can do that together with the mind as well, and you install all the milestones and the growth and the end results and the capacity to hold that vision and to move towards that, despite contrast, despite circumstances that you're learning to deal with, not to identify with anymore. Can you see the growth? Can you see the higher expression of yourself, of your business, of your relationships, of your life on any single level? So can you understand that I feel like I have the cure to cancer and that I really long, yes, come on, let's do this. Because I believe in every single one of you, because I have been going through the growth. And from my experience, I can tell you, hey, look there. Hey, open that door. And the thing is, you do it yourself. So you will have that embodiment for you. It's not like you are following a specific list and then need that list for the rest of your life. No, you will move, you will evolve into that version who can hold it, who has the capacity to be it. We change your self-identity So there will be no questioning anymore. There will be no doubting. There will be no overwhelm. And if something happens or several things happen in your life and you feel you're going back to old ways of behaving, you catch yourself after hours. There's no drifting for days, months, years. Oh, the clarity that you have, the clarity that you live with, and the depth, the access that you have to yourself. That's all you need to live the highest expression of who you are, of what you came here to do, your purpose, you being the mom you want to be. You can have that expression, or perhaps you really long to just be a specific version of yourself that you feel you're happy. You are able to experience joy on a daily basis. There's no guilt. There's no grief because you transmuted it. You created space within and the new can come in. All the stories, all the ties, you understood them. You were able to integrate the patterns to create a safe space within. Wait, let me share with you one thing that I'd love to share with you. Let me share with you my screen because it's a beautiful thing what we do here. Where is it? Where is it? I have made a small video for you because it shows you beautifully what you do here. Okay. All right, let me share with you my screen. I long for you to see it. It is, I just love, I have a very visual memory, and I long for you to experience it so you can build that within. Okay, you can see my screen. I know you can. All right, let me now play this. This goes over there. See, this is what you do when you build the home within yourself. See, this foundation that you rebuild is on the solar plexus. Okay, these are the chakras. Okay, so this is where you rebuild that trust, that foundation. And look what happens. See, you're just rebuilding a home within yourself because you create a safe space within to allow yourself to be, willingness to remain open and soft, to not put up walls so nobody can come in. You create a home within. So this is literally what we do within. You're rebuilding your foundation where you get to live in trust and in safety. And then you share that beauty with others. And you emit that light, you radiate that lightness. People share with me, oh, Sige, I'd love to be with you because you know what? I love to be your energy. Thank you. I love my energy as well. Right? So the worrying will be gone. You will live in relief. You will live in excitement, in happiness, in bliss. You just understand that this life is so beautiful. And you can share that joy with your loved ones. The drama is less. This, unless you live with children who are just going through the practices, you can hold that space for them. You won't be triggered. You won't go into victim modes. No, you will know that you are your only operant power. And every time you reconnect to self and you understand, okay, what am I pretending not to know? What part of the shadow am I not allowing myself to show? And then in full compassion with yourself, you embrace yourself even more. And you remember yourself of who you truly are. And living from that state of being, that's embodiment. It's full authentic embodiment. So is any one of you having questions? Are you having questions? Then you can write it in the chat. I'm happy to answer them. And also this, my offers that I share with you, they will, until Wednesday, you get one personal call with me for 90 minutes when you sign up. So we can, straight from the beginning, dive deep to what is for you the most important thing, and we can build the 3 months and the 6 months around that. And if you want to have a call with me, 20-minute call where you want to ask questions, then you will also find that link on the document. Then send me a small message, lifecoach@sigenagels.com, where you say, you know what, I asked for a 20-minute call, and then I can follow up with you straight away, and we make that happen. When you feel, yes, I won't fake it anymore, and I really long to live my life in emotional maturity and express life for yourself first, because you see and you hear yourself, then let's go. Let's go. Okay. Yes, please, you made a screenshot. You know, you can also, here, let me see. Let me share my email address where you can ask me questions, because are you able to do that? You show me something that I even don't know. And that's great. What you see in the document, it's not particularly 2 pages because it's a digital document. So you have 3 specific offers, 11 months, 11 weeks, I mean. It's actually 12 weeks because I start with 0 plus 11, it's 12. And then you have 6 months, and then you have private. Okay, so see if you can see that. All right. Yeah, you're so welcome. Elena, Amina, Diana, Ella, Elena. And congratulations. I feel very celebrative for you choosing you. For you choosing you. Talk to you very soon. I see there's no more questions. Just one more thing. I want you to win in life and to live and thrive. Just how it's intended to be for you. Talk to you very soon. You know how to reach out to me. Bye-bye.